Welcome to Pour the Wine is Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Garry.
And you can send us an email to pourthewineisromcomtime@gmail.com and let us know your thoughts about anything Hallmark related. Today we're going to be talking about The Way Home, so send us your emails about your theories.
Yes, please do.
We're on the downward slope. It's so sad.
Boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo.
And there was a lot of stuff revealed in this episode. But
Yes.
if you want to help other fans, Hallmark fans that is, find our podcast, the best way to do that is give us some good ratings over at Apple Podcast and Spotify. If you like watching our video, you can find us at YouTube at Pour the Wine is Rom-Com Time. Click the bell, click the subscribe button so you never miss another episode of our lovely faces.
Of our lovely faces. Today we're going to be reviewing episode number 7 of the final season of The Way Home,
Boo.
season number 4. This episode is called Working My Way Back to You. It originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, May 31st, 2026. And you can catch up with The Way Home, the first 3 seasons on Netflix and the current season. And all the seasons, actually, on Hallmark Plus.
I hope Netflix picks this show up. I would like it to continue. It's getting so good, man.
Yeah, it would be really cool if someone else picked it up and continue it. It'd be great for Netflix. Because I think they got a lot more viewers, a lot more eyes on it, obviously, once it went to Netflix.
Yeah, definitely.
So it has potential there. Come on, Netflix, pick it up.
It does.
I mean, we wanted to stay with Hallmark, but, if it can't, then...
Nah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Well, this episode was written by Marley Reed and directed by Michelle Latimer. Time to drop the synopsis?
I guess. Do you think it is? All right, here we go. Some questions are answered for Elliot and Kat, while others linger. Isn't that always the case?
I know.
Meanwhile, in the present, new choices arise for Alice as she evaluates her future.
Yeah, she's got some evaluating to do.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, that's on the Hallmark channels. That's directly from the Hallmark channels. Or no, it's directly from Hallmark Plus. I'm sorry.
Right.
The episode description. So, yeah.
It kind of fits.
There
So we'll probably drop some spoilers because this is hard to talk about without doing that. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, I would suggest you pause our podcast, go watch it, come back, let us know what you think in the comments down below.
There's no probably about it. We're definitely going to drop some spoilers.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. So, all right, well, let's dive into it then.
All right. So do we have a good grasp on where we ended up last time? Jacob and Abby decided that they could maybe talk and not be enemies, even though one's a good one and one's a Landry, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. I like that. Max
was really mean.
Oh, my God.
To Alice.
What a jerk.
Yeah. Really disappointed in you, Max.
Even though you may be disappointed in somebody, at least support them and don't make them feel like they're less of something. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. He was very demeaning.
He was very demeaning.
And then you have the big reveal at the end. We find out that Tessa is running the entire gangster operation in 1925.
She boss lady.
She's the boss lady.
Oh, my goodness.
And she had one of her henchmen, one of the, I guess it would be Elliot's great-grandfather. Is that the one who ends up hitting him?
Yep.
On the head and knocking him out. So he's knocked out. And then Tessa's the boss.
Tessa's boss. Then you had Sam saving Dell, bringing her back and getting her all straight again.
Was that the last episode or was that?
No, it was the episode prior, but it kind of
comes back around in this episode. Right,
so I just thought I'd mention it.
Okay. All right. So this one starts off with a real bang. Real bang.
Big reveal.
Well done, The Way Home. So
yes,
it starts off in 2024 in Port Haven, and Sam is at the waterfront area playing chess. And Casey shows up. says she's Casey Goodwin.
Mm-hmm.
She does her own introduction that way, which I thought was interesting. And he proceeds to ask Casey, hey, how do you know my name? And how are you so good at chess? And Casey says she's learned from him, or
I know.
they have learned from him. I got to be careful with that this time.
Oh my goodness. I mean, what an eye opener. Can you imagine sitting there and you're playing chess or whatever, and somebody comes up and says, I know you from the future. I mean, how would you react?
Right.
So, but that
They,
was a very good reveal.
yeah, they actually do end up saying that they
Mm-hmm.
know Sam from the future,
Mm-hmm.
and they know Dell also.
Right.
And they also tell Sam a bunch of things about his life, like from his childhood. Like
Yes.
Casey is like, oh, you did this, you did this. And he's like, how do you know that?
Right.
Which I thought was really interesting because now we know that Sam, this is kind of where Sam fits in, and here we thought maybe he was a bad guy. And
Right.
turns out, I don't think he's a bad guy.
Well, he knew for what, 2 years that
Right.
the pond was the pond.
Right.
Was
Right.
the
He's known for a couple years what his future would end up being.
right.
Correct, based on what Casey told him at that time.
Right.
And then the next scene does go to the present day,
Mm-hmm.
but we've talked about this right before we did the episode, and this time jumps quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
There's
Woo.
there's information. There's a lot of information, even if we're not in 1925 that much. There's a lot of information that we get out of 1925. Same thing with present day. Same thing with
Right.
1979. So this episode, instead of going in chronological order, we're going to talk about the time periods,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But we wanted to get out of the gate with what happens at the very beginning because that is a very
Important.
interesting reveal.
Yep.
Yeah, which I
Yep.
thought was actually really pretty great
Oh man.
and well done. Yeah. All right, so where do we want to start? We want to start 1925?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay, so we're in 1925, and as we just mentioned, Tessa, we just found out she's the boss lady. She has had the Augie boy hit Elliot over the head, but it starts out where they're at the Landry farm. Tessa is there with Fern and Kat, and they're sitting at the table, the famous kitchen table.
Yep.
And Tessa basically is like, her boss isn't going to be happy. And, Kat really doesn't understand the
Right.
trouble she's caused by her and Elliot injecting themselves into this timeline.
Yep.
And then Elliot comes downstairs, got a little bit of a headache. A little bit of a headache. He was knocked out.
Still confused.
Yes. So, and then basically, and Kat's kind of giving it to Tessa.
Yeah.
She's like, your son,
Right. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, come on.
Yeah. She's like, we came here to help you because we thought you were in trouble.
Yeah. But here's Tessa saying, no, you screwed everything up.
Yeah, you just messed it all up.
But how are they to know?
Messed it all up. And then Fern kind of leans on the table and puts her hands on her head like, oy, oy, oy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, can you believe it? She's like, oh my God, what is going on now? And I think she's kind of a little bit upset too. So.
Oh yeah, she's upset for sure, which we get into in the next scene, right?
Right. So Fern and Kat are on the porch, and I actually love this scene because they both kind of open up to each other, and Fern really, really loves Kat, and she talks about how when she was little, they always thought the pond was their family's little secret, but she also loved Tessa.
Yes.
But now no one knew that Tessa was a time jumper, but we still don't know because we only thought that Landry's could jump. So we have that.
Well, we're making the presumption that she jumped with Griffin.
Right.
I think that's what everybody kind of thinks. And then she got stuck there.
Right.
But we don't know that for sure yet.
Right.
But people are making that presumption.
And she also opens up about, you know, because Tessa was a fortune teller and always told people's fortunes and made a living off of it. Now they know why, because she was jumping from place to place.
Right. So so I guess the question is, when she did jump again, was she able to jump on her own, or did she jump with Landry?
Right. Which would
And
be,
who was it?
would it be Griffin? Does she have Griffin held captive and she just uses him to jump?
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Nah, probably not.
I don't think so.
But that would be kind of cool, though.
Yeah, and then Fern in that moment says, yeah, she always knew what books were going to be a bestseller.
I
thought that
know,
was kind of
right?
funny.
Yeah.
Now she's realizing that's because Tessa did
Yep.
jump.
And it breaks her heart. It breaks Fern's heart. So
yeah, Fern's really coming to grips with the fact that Tessa wasn't who she thought she was.
mm-hmm.
And she's known Tessa her whole life. And that's when she says, did I write it down? That she really looked up to Tessa because she was the only woman that Fern knew who didn't answer to any man. And Fern
and back
really,
in them days, that's a big thing.
In those times,
yeah.
And Fern is like, I wanted the excitement. I enjoyed I want the intrigue. I want the excitement. And she just really admired Tessa for that.
Right.
But now she's coming to grips with the fact that Tessa lied by omission by not admitting who she really was and what she was doing.
Right.
So.
And we also find out why Tessa had disappeared for a little bit, and that's because she was taking acting lessons out of town.
No, that was Fern.
I mean Fern. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we find that out. So
that was from the last episode.
Right.
That was when they couldn't find Fern.
They couldn't find Fern. And
they
were thinking the Augie
Kat
boys had did something to her.
Right.
Or Grayson did something to her.
Right.
So then, go ahead.
No, you're good.
So then we move on, Fern, Fern and Kat. Kat is kind of worried about Elliot and wants to go find him. And I thought this was another good scene too, because this is where Cliff shows up as Kat is walking away. Right? Remember that?
Oh, yes. I'm trying to find that in my notes. Yes. So Cliff walks up to Fern.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And Cliff tells Fern that Grayson is using her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's too sweet of a girl to be used like that. And
I love all
she's
the
like, you
words.
barely know me. And the way this was shot and done was so good because
perfect.
They're arguing with each other, but they're getting closer and closer to one another. And you can just feel the attraction between the two of them.
Yes.
And then, and the music is so great there because it's like building up to the point. It just reminds me of movies from, I don't even know what era, like the 50s, the 40s and 50s, where you had that dramatic music,
right?
And then they're getting closer together. It's just so well done.
It was.
And we've often talked about the music, obviously the original songs and everything, but just how they use the music for the moment is just so well done in this series.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And then they end up kissing.
What a kiss, huh?
What a kiss.
The tension built and then it exploded. So, but then what I thought was pretty interesting is Cliff is like, the sad thing is you're still part of his crew, and then he turns and walks away.
Well, he says you're engaged to a scoundrel.
Right. And then he turns and walks away.
Scoundrel, but engaged nonetheless, or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. After
it kind of leaves Fern standing there.
Passionate kiss there.
It was. He loves her. I think she loves him too. So
yeah. Well, we also have Elliot confronts his mom.
Right, down at the pond.
And Tessa's like, do you know what happened to Griffin? And Elliot's like, basically like, do you even care about me and about Vic?
Right.
Like Griffin, Elliot wants answers.
Yeah.
And then she tries again to say, you and Kat don't understand the trouble that you've caused. And he's like, have you ever thought about Vic? Have you ever thought about me?
Right.
in the past 40 years. You know, he's really visibly upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, why did you do it? You know, because he wants that answer. And she's basically just like, I thought it was the best choice. And she
Right.
says it like so matter of factly, you
Nonchalant.
know,
Yeah.
she's
Like,
not, well, it's just kind of like, I thought it was the better choice. And I really think we're going to find out that she had a choice, but not really. And I think, you know, I'm going to choose to believe that she really did it for
to
what she thought would be the best for him,
right, to
for the
protect
future,
them.
for
Mhm.
whatever's going on.
Right.
I don't think she's going to end up being like a bad person.
Right.
At least
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah.
And then she turns and walks away and leaves
Right.
them there at the pond. And then that's when
Right.
Kat finds Elliot. She
Yes.
runs into him down at the pond, and they start to talk, and Kat is like, well, let's go home and we can come back. And he's like, no, I need some answers. And she's like, well, you know, Alice, I got to take Alice to school tomorrow. And he's like, okay. So he decides that they'll go back and they'll come back another day.
Well, and she also says, we know I come back. You know, we
Right.
know we come back because
Right.
I'm in the screen test.
Yes.
There's the screen test we haven't come across yet that was in the, was it in the opening episode or the end of last season?
I think it was in the opening.
The season
The
finale and then
right.
the opening. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's right. So they grab hands, they hold hands, and they go to jump, and Elliot lets go of Kat. And she gets into the pond, and then the pond says, oh, here we go, and takes her away. But prior to her jumping in, he tries to pull her back and say, because he says, Kate, wait, like he was gonna, or Cat.
Okay.
Here we go, kitty cat. Like he was gonna confess to something.
Right. He does say, Cat, wait.
Right.
Like, but it's too late. You know how
It's
you get in those moments where you like the train has left the station and it
Mhm.
was too late for him, and there was no way he was going to be able to pull her back because she was already in motion of jumping. And I think he had regret in that moment
Right.
because she doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
why he's choosing not to go to jump back in.
Right. So that kind of stung a little bit.
Yep. So now Kat has jumped into the pond without him, and the pond is taking her away, and you presume she's going back to present day, but oh no.
Nope.
No.
It takes you where it wants you to go.
That's right. So she ends up in 1979.
Yeah.
Is that right?
1979.
So she's like, where am I? Oh no. You know, and she knows she's not, because she looks at the farm. She's at Landry Farm, and she can tell it's not present day,
Mhm.
but she's not quite sure when. And then Fern comes from around the corner, and she's older. She's Grandma Fern.
Right.
Right. So, and I think, does Fern say 1979?
Yes. Fern says
sure
you're
how
in 1979. Yeah.
Right. And so Kat is upset. She tells Fern, you know, I have to go back and get Elliot. He's stuck there, you know.
Yeah.
And the pond pulled me here. And Fern is like, give the boy some time with his mother, dear.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was just a really good line.
Yeah,
you know?
it was. It was.
And
a really
she's
good
like,
line.
and basically Fern says sometimes it's a gift and sometimes it's not.
Right. And
Meaning the pond, yeah.
And she's been through it, so she knows. And she also tells Kat that she's a true friend. But you know, the Landry women, they don't do so well with love. So
right. She says they're cursed, actually,
when it comes to love.
Right.
And so
so
Kat doesn't know, you know, what to do, but Fern tells her, and this is another clue and
Mhm.
another big reveal. She adds as she's walking away, the key is the key.
She says, remember this, kitty cat.
Yes, remember it, kitty cat.
The
So
key
that was
is the key.
That was pretty good.
And you know, if I were Kat in that moment, I'd be like, do you know how much stuff I have to remember
Right.
from different timelines that it's hard to
It is. It's very
come back
hard.
to? I got to remember. So the key is the key. So that is a key to what happens at the end, which you kind of suspect. Like that was sort of something we had suspected early on.
Right.
You know, that it was going to come back up. And here it does come back up in this episode in a very big way.
Yes, it does. All right. So
So,
you wanna move on to 1979
well,
or
yeah, we were in 1979, but then we go to Alice
oof.
has traveled to 1979.
Yes.
And she comes upon Coils, and it is New Year's Eve, and she peeks in the window and she sees the gang is there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Dell, Cole, Griffin is there. Who else?
Evelyn,
Evie, Evelyn.
Jasper.
Well, yeah, he's the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're showing a film. So I don't know if she goes, she sees the film, right? There's a film. Jasper is showing old films because he's
Right.
going to be closing Coils. So
Mm-hmm.
he's got these film and he shows it of Dell and Cole's wedding. Dell
Right.
gets upset, goes outside,
Mm-hmm.
and Alice is out there hiding.
Behind a truck.
Right. And she overhears Dell and Cole, have a discussion, and they're still, Dell is upset because looking at that video, she remembers when they had so much promise to start a family and they were so
Right.
excited, and they've
Right.
had so much trouble now in this timeline,
Mm-hmm.
or in 1979. They've had trouble having a baby.
Right.
She's lost some babies, and so she's just really upset. And Alice is privy to that conversation, and Dell goes to the car, and as Griffin's getting ready to go, or as Cole is
Colton.
getting ready to go to the car, Griffin comes out of Coils and is like, "Hey man, is everything okay?" And then Cole finds out that Griffin knew what happened, that
The
she'd had the
miscarriage.
miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Grandma, which is Fern, right,
Mm-hmm.
had written Griffin
Right.
and told.
But did he? Or did she? Or did he already know because he time jumps? Hmm. Just putting it out there.
What do you mean? Well, it happened that year, so you're saying he time jumped.
Maybe he knew about it, but maybe not. Because
That was his time. Well, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
We'll
maybe,
find
maybe
out. We'll
not.
find
Maybe,
out.
maybe not. You
Yeah.
might be right.
Because
You're
Cole.
saying maybe he found out when he jumped and
Right.
he was in a different timeline. He
Right.
found out. Okay,
Right.
maybe.
Maybe.
This is possible.
Yeah. But then, so him and Colton kind of have words back and forth why Griffin had left Colton there to take care of the family and the farm and all that stuff. So there was still some angst there, but Griffin said, "Be strong and definitely be strong for Dell." And Colton walks away and gets in the car and drives off. And then I thought this was so funny because, Alice is still hiding behind the truck and Griffin's still standing there. And Alice kind of peeps up and looks over watching, Dell and Colton, drive away. And Griffin's like, "Hey, aren't you Colton's friend?"
Yeah. And
And
she's like, "Yes,
sure.
I
Yeah.
am." Yeah. And you know what else I like in this scene about Griffin is we really get a sense that he's a nice guy.
Mhm.
Like you really get his. I don't know that we've gotten that so much, in that he's, because everybody thinks he's this horrible guy, and
Right.
Tessa fell in love with him, and she chose to go with him and not stay, and
Right.
so I think there's obviously going to be more to that story too. But we really get a sense that he's a decent guy,
Right.
but we don't know,
Yeah. I
what
agree.
ends up happening from there.
And then Griffin and Alice walk back into Coils,
Yes.
and Evelyn is excited and he runs over to Alice and gives her a big hug and says, "Gosh, you don't even look like you've aged a day."
Mhm.
Uh-oh, she's starting to wonder what's going on, right?
Starting to put some pieces together. She's like, "You must give me your skincare routine."
I thought that was funny. I thought that was
was
a good
cute.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And then because it's New Year's, they're getting ready to count down, to 1980, which I thought was cool. 80s,
Yeah,
yay.
we're finally getting to the 80s. We're so excited. And then the show's ending.
And it ends. Yes.
The 80s, that's our jam, right?
Yeah.
That's our
And
jam right there. The 80s.
they're standing around, they're drinking champagne, they're talking and watching the video that Jasper had put together. And then lo and behold, somebody shows up on it that we don't know.
Dun dun dun.
And who is it?
It's Kat.
It's Kitty Cat.
It's Kitty Cat.
Coming down the stairs in Coles. It's like, and then it's so interesting because Alice is like in shock, but Evelyn
Yeah.
goes, wait a minute, I know that lady. She's the white witch. She's the one that saved me from the pond or pulled me out of the pond. And
Yeah.
and Jasper's like, Alice, isn't that your mom? And she's like, no, I don't know her. And then Evelyn was like, well, remember the picture in the what was it, her future house, I guess,
The
the
painting.
the
Yeah, the big
painting of
yeah.
Kat back in the
17
1800s
or
or whatever it
yeah.
was. And I thought that was,
Or
well,
1800s, yeah.
I loved how they wrote that. That was very good.
Yeah, it was really good. And of course Alice is like, "Oh my gosh, I have to get rid of the film," right?
Yes.
So Alice and then around that time is when Tessa and Vic come in
Mm-hmm.
to Coils, and then it becomes midnight. There's a countdown, right, to midnight. And while they're cheering each other and hugging, or that's when Alice goes and she takes the film,
Right.
right, container, but Tessa sees her
Mm-hmm.
taking the film.
Right.
So now Tessa's interested.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
Tessa sees a lot.
and as the countdown to 80 begins, Alice ends up walking out
Yep.
and she throws the film. I don't know why she threw it in the trash can right outside
Right
of
there.
course.
Hello.
It's like, oh,
Hello.
come on, would you really do that? And Evelyn comes out and it's like, what are you doing? And she's like, why are you always gone for so long? And that was a sad scene because I think Alice knew at that point she might not be seeing her anymore
Right. She might not
in
be
that
coming
time
back.
period.
Right.
So it was kind of sad.
Yeah, it was a little bit sad. And then Alice ends up telling Evie what we'll talk about in a little bit, what Casey has told Alice, and that
Mm,
everything is a countdown to something else.
I
And she
know.
tells Evie, one day you're going to look back at this time and see these as the golden days.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth too?
Oof.
Sometimes you look back with rose colored glasses, you know?
Yeah. It's.
You think it's hard during the time. And then when you get a little bit older, you're like, it wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't. Not at all.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So yeah, I thought that was a really good scene between Alice and Evie too.
Yeah.
Evie too also. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said. Yep.
Man. Mm.
I know. Now we go back to present day.
Yes, let's go
Right.
back to present day.
So you have the opening that we talked about earlier and the present day, and after that opening it goes immediately to present day, and Sam and Casey are back at the chessboard.
Right.
And I think, don't they show the plaque
Yes,
that Max
gave Alice,
gave to Alice, which is really
dedicated
cool.
to her. Yeah, I thought
So
so too.
we find out, I think it's now when we find out that Casey did tell Sam his future,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, we both know what's always supposed to happen will happen.
Right.
And they want Sam to not take things for granted,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is, a little bit of what Alice tells Evie.
And she kind of tells him, you got to earn it. It's just not going to happen. You got to earn it. If you want her love, go get it. Just because.
Yep.
And then we get in the present time, we get Dell and Alice. They're sitting at the kitchen table, and this is where what I thought was pretty cool and a cool edit is back in 1925 when Fern puts her head on at the kitchen table,
her hands
on her head. Alice in the present time takes her hands from her head down to the table, and I thought that was shot really well.
So good, the editing
was,
and the
yes.
shooting of that. Yes, that scene was really good.
And that's when Alice kind of tells Dell that she's not going to go to school. She wants to defer a year, right?
Yep.
Or whatever.
Yep. And then Sam is trying to call Dell while they're sitting at the table. And, Alice is like, it looks like I'm not the only one facing things, because Dell's like, you got to tell your mom.
Yeah. That's funny.
And then we have Jacobs talking to Danny about Abby. And Danny is kind of basically like, don't poke that bear, meaning Lewis, because
You've
You
been
know, the whole wanting to burn down the vineyard thing.
Yeah.
Lewis might be a little bitter about that still. So you might not want to pursue his daughter.
Yeah, because
But that's
Danny's.
really a brief scene.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not sure what they were trying to gain out of this, showing that part, because he does ask her about Abby, and then
Ask him about Abby, you mean?
he asked Danny about Abby,
Yes.
and Danny says, "Yeah, she's a brilliant girl." He said, "But you don't want to go poking that bear again." He said, "I don't even understand how you still have a job," or whatever it was he said.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, he does say that. Well, he calls
Yeah.
her a marketing whiz. He
Right.
calls Danny calls Abby a marketing whiz.
Yeah. So
Because Jacob's trying to get some information, like, did you ever meet Lewis's daughter?
right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have, Dell has asked to meet Sam at their property line, and Dell thanks him for carrying her home after she passed out
Right.
in the fields. And is that when Sam asks her if she remembers what she said to him?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't jot that down, and I'm like, I think that's the scene that he asks her.
Yeah. And he was like, so, and she said no. And he was like, "Oh, so the only reason you came over here was to thank me?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, I guess."
I know, poor Sam. Now I'm feeling sorry for Sam.
Yeah. And so he kind of says, "Well, when you're ready, just, where I live. Come on over." Right.
Yeah. And what's great about this scene is too, because when this scene ends, they're at like a fence on the Landry, right at the line, I think, right? The property line.
Yep.
And then then it goes to 1925, and that's where Fern and Kat are at first. They're at the fence, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, lots of
I love that back and forth like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Jacob sees Abby in coils, and Abby they're working. She's trying to find a new hook for, her family's business. And, she says her dad is a purist, and he just goes on and on about the land and the soil. And of course, Jacob is like, hello, she doesn't know he grew up in a time where that's what you focused on.
And he
land.
says, "I kind of agree with your dad."
Yeah. Yeah. So then Abby's like, well, show me.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really great. So we'll get back to them in a minute.
Right. And then we get was it Kat and Dell, right?
Yes.
So Kat tells Dell that the pond won't let her go back to Elliot to go save Elliot, and she's worried because she has to take Alice to school tomorrow, not knowing that Alice is not going yet.
Right.
And Dell kind of tells Kat that I think she was it Kat? She was telling that she can't keep Sam at arm's length, and then Kat is like, "Well, why are you trying to anyways?" And then she tells Kat about, she was seeing Cole when she was kind of unconscious, and that she still loves him and all this other stuff. And Kat kind of says, "Well, Dad wouldn't want you to be living like this. He'd want you to live your life.
To move on, move forward." Yeah.
So that was there was a lot of good scenes in this.
I know. There was there was so much going on in this episode. And then Alice sees Casey and tells Casey that Alice has deferred college, and Casey's annoyed.
Yeah, she is.
They are like, why'd you do that?
I didn't tell you to do that.
I didn't tell you to do that.
I told you to follow your gut.
And Alice is basically taken aback because Alice is like, I followed my gut, and then Alice is kind of like, I want to know my future. I want to know my future. And Casey won't tell her.
No.
Which is interesting because Casey did tell Sam.
Right.
Right. So I don't know.
Maybe she regret doing it. I don't know, because of how things turned out.
Right. So then Alice ends up inviting Casey to dinner because what's better than a family dinner when everybody's in disarray, right? So we have dinner time, and it's Dell, it's Kat, it's Alice, it's Casey, and Jacob, and Jacob asks Kat, what's up, and Kat's like, well, basically Elliot is stuck in 1925. The pond won't take me to him. She's all in her.
And Casey won't tell me if he's okay.
Yep. And then Alice drops the bomb on Kat that she is not going to college.
Nope.
And she is deferring. And she says, well, Casey said to follow my gut.
Oh, my God.
And Kat's a little not happy with Casey in that moment.
No, she's not.
So, so Casey gets up and heads to the pond, and
Mm-hmm.
Alice confronts them, and Casey basically says, "Did you ever think about how this is affecting me? It's
Right.
not just about
Another
you."
great scene. Yep.
And I thought that was so good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't thought about that. But we see, and we should have, because you see how how Kat and Alice, and how time jumping has affected them when they're in the timeline.
Right.
You
And
know,
it would.
and yeah, and Alice hasn't thought about
That
Casey.
aspect of it. Yeah.
Right.
Because she's only worried about herself.
Right. And then Casey says, my Landry family loves to go on and on about basically the good old days.
The good old days.
But I'm not seeing that here. It's all fighting and secrets.
Secrets and lies.
And then Casey says, that's when Casey drops the line about, I just wanted to see what it was like before everything changes.
Yeah. And she's the one that said everything has a countdown to, everything counts down to something. Mm-hmm. And then she jumps in the pond. You like my special effects?
Well, and then Alice sees her mom calling her, and she's like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm going to jump in the pond.
She's like, bye.
Alice would rather jump in the pond. So then Alice jumps,
mom.
And that's when she ends up in 1979.
Right. Yeah.
So then we have Jacob and Kat. They're having a sweet conversation on the front porch, and Kat's whole world is basically falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob kind of gives her a pep talk, tells her she's got to trust the pond's reasons.
Yeah.
And she's like, Kat says, Elliot he's my person. And I'm like, oh, is that a shout out to Grey's Anatomy?
I know, right?
Because I think that phrase was used in Grey's Anatomy between Meredith and Sandra Oh's character, who I can't think of. They're like, you're my person.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That's what I thought of instantly when she said he's my person.
Yeah, but Jacob kind of tells her, the pond will bring him back when it's time. And she said, well, it didn't bring you back for 20 something years or 20, 25 years. So she's kind of she's losing hope.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And then Kat and Alice have their conversation. Alice tells her where she was, that she was in 1979, and that she still wants to defer. And Kat handles it pretty well.
Yeah, she does.
She's basically like, okay, that's fine. But you're going to need a plan.
Work.
What most of us who have teens who, maybe didn't go to college are like, you need a plan.
Yeah, you do.
We're not just going to sit around. We're going to have a plan. You got to have something to do. You're not just going to be here. I thought that was kind of cute.
It was.
And then I love when Kat tells her, now you're going to have to tell your dad, and you may as well get that done sooner rather than later.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
So I thought that was a really good scene.
Yeah. And Alice tells her mom that back in 1979, when she was running from her mom because she didn't want to face her, Kat shows up on a video and everybody saw it.
Not a video, film.
A film. And Kat was like, what?
Excuse you. Video wasn't
What? And I thought that was, that was good too.
Yes.
And then you hear a knock at the door and they kind of both look at each other and like, are you expecting somebody? And they're like, no. And kind of find out it's a piano tech. He's there because apparently Elliot had called because one of the keys on the keyboard, the piano, Fern's piano, was sticking. So he was there to fix that problem.
Fix the key. The key is the key. You know what I'm saying?
The key is the key.
And then it kind of goes to Abby and Jacob are at the field, and Jacob is sort of giving Abby a history.
Right.
Right. And I thought it was really great when he said farming is in his blood. Mm-hmm. It's tangible. Farming is logical. You put in a lot of work and you get something back. I don't know. I really love those lines that he delivered. And then he starts talking about the soil itself, and like the type of soil that's there is usually bad for farming. But when he holds it, he's holding his history. Right. It's his family's history. And the storytelling in that scene I thought was so great.
It was.
And then the music when he's talking is kind of like time period-ish. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you notice, this is where the composing is so good. The score is so good of The Way Home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that you feel like you're back in time when he's talking. And it was just, And it was so true, when we didn't have all these devices or all these things, and you had to, and yeah, it was hard work. It was not
Right.
easy, but you got something back, for all
For
of your
your
hard
hard
work.
work. Yeah.
Right. You're harvesting,
Yeah.
so I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
And then we get back to Kate and the Piano Man.
Cat,
Oh my gosh,
not
just
Kate.
cat, kitty
Cat,
cat. And
cat.
the piano tech finds what's causing the key to stick, and it's a note.
Yep, it is a note.
Dun, dun, dun.
And of course, you realize that the note is the page that was missing from Alice's book.
Mm-hmm.
And Kat mentions it's got the inscription she saw in 1925, which was a little inscription to Fern
Yep.
from Tessa, right? But the key wasn't there.
Right.
So I don't know how that's going to play into things.
The keys
it's play
or the
into it,
words.
obviously.
Yep.
The key is the key. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
I still think it stands for cat, but that cat's going to save everybody or save the timeline or something.
Right.
That's
So
what I think.
there's a picture of a key, and above the key it says the letter above, or it says the letter
Comes after.
and then below the key it says comes after. Right. So it's like
it says,
the letter comes after.
Right. Right. Which would mean, because the key looks like an L and it comes after K, so the key is the key. So
You think it's cat.
yeah, K for
Okay.
cat. But they had some words on the left side which were good, that, just, great,
Yeah.
tried, be. And then they had words on the right, which was of, you, at, if, have, there. So what in the world?
Like good of you. Like I was trying to read at
Right.
if. Yeah, I missed the have. So good of you, that, at, just, great, if, have to, try, be, there. I don't know.
Right. It's like there's some words missing.
Right.
Or maybe
right.
that's part of the key. The words that
We
are
didn't
missing are
study
part
it
of
too
the
much,
key.
right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out. But then you realize that there is a letter on the back of that page,
Mm-hmm.
and Kat is talking to Alice, and it is a love letter from
Aww.
Mr. Cliff
Yes.
to Fern.
Yep. Confessing his love for her.
So now we have to figure out why he wrote that and then put it in the piano.
Yeah.
Or why? Because they're like, why would he do that and not? So yeah.
Yep.
But maybe because they couldn't end up being together. I don't know.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Right.
So then, or maybe he wanted her to find it and she never did and never knew that he loved her, because maybe he's the one that went missing in the tunnels.
The mine. We have the mine explosion.
And Fern just thought he left and
that
left
could
her
be
there.
too.
So maybe
that could very well be too.
But he put it in there hoping that she would find and know that he did love her. So
Maybe.
we'll go with that, because I actually
Maybe.
like that better.
All right. So then Dell rides to the cornfield where she passed out. She
Yep.
remembers that she actually told Sam she loved him. I'll try to go a little quickly because we're running long.
Yes, we are.
Jacob and Abby, they end up having a sunset picnic in the back of, I think it's his pickup.
Right.
And she's basically like, cheers to overcoming grudges. And they kiss.
Ooh,
so
we
we've
get
had
a
two
kiss on it?
kisses in this
Yay.
one. Sam shows up at, I think he shows up at Landry Farm, and Dell tells Sam that she loves him.
No, she goes to him.
She goes to him. Just
Yes,
kidding.
yes.
Dell goes to Sam.
Yes.
She tells Sam that she loves him. He says he loves her and he's not going to take anything for granted. And then he's made this really cute date night spot for them with a couch, and they're going to
movie
watch a
time.
movie. It's movie time.
Yes.
And he says, I normally am a routine guy and by the book, but he did that spontaneously for her, which is great. And they're sitting on the couch. They're going to watch Some Like It Hot.
Yes.
Casey's watching and smiling. Sam sees Casey. he goes to her, and Casey's basically like, you mean a lot to me in my time.
Right.
And he says he's going to share with Dell what he knows. And Casey's like, just be careful.
Right.
So, and Sam is surprised that Casey hasn't fought him more on telling Dell
Right.
what he knows about the future.
Right.
What Casey has told him.
And that's why the pawn wouldn't let Casey go back, because
Because
they had unfinished business, and that was Sam and Del.
Right.
So there you go. And now we have Monica, who now
We're
owns
back at Coils.
Coils, but it's not called Coils anymore. It's called what, the Point or something like
Right.
that?
It's called the Point in present day.
Right. And she brings out a box, and Alice is there, and Monica tells Alice she always has a place to work because she found out that she's deferring to her year. And Alice says the Point opened back in 81, which was 1 year before Cole closed it.
1 year after.
After Cole. Right. So
Right.
I thought that was pretty interesting. And Monica was like, wow, you sure do know a lot of history.
1 year after Jasper closed Coils,
Right.
right? You said Cole closed. Right,
Oh,
right.
yeah,
So,
you're right.
So it was 1 year. It reopened 1
Mhm.
year after Jasper officially closed it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was interesting. And then Noah walks in, and he tells her, he knows that she's deferring, and he kind of does what he's supposed to do. He backs her.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can make this work. And then they kiss, so we get another kiss.
We get another kiss. We get a third kiss.
And
well,
then,
he says nothing has to change.
Right.
Everything is changing, but it doesn't have to change between them.
Right.
All right. So then we go back. Kat is upset because the pond.
No,
won't
you
take
have to
her.
wait though, because after they kiss, the camera pans down to the box, and what's in the box that Monica brought out is the film, not the video, the film of Kat back in 1979.
No, she was that 74 when she showed up?
Oh, yes, 74. You're right. 74.
Right. It was 74.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we go on.
I think.
Yeah.
No,
I think you're right.
So now you're right. So we see that Kat is upset because the pond won't take her to Elliot. She's really upset. She's worried about Elliot. She's telling Alice all of this, right? She's talking to Alice. She's at Elliot's house. The school where Elliot teaches calls, and Kat learns that Elliot has taken a sabbatical. He's taken some time off. He's taken a semester off, right?
Yep. And the school was calling to say it was approved.
So she's like, "What? I didn't know that." And then the creepy clock goes off and chimes, which takes them into the bedroom. It is in Elliot's bedroom, which I don't know why Kat hadn't gone in the bedroom yet, but that's a whole other thing.
Right.
So the clock goes off and they go in there. They see all the copies that Elliot had made of the newspapers when he broke into the paper and stole Kat's key. And Alice sees the article that says big fish caught at New Year's Eve bash. And who is it a picture of that is being arrested but Elliot?
Elliot!
The date of the paper is January 4th, 1926. And the article does not call him Elliot. It calls him Tom Buchanan.
AKA Tom Buchanan.
And it says he was arrested at the Lingermore estate by Inspector Cliff.
Yeah.
So Tom is a bootlegger, people. Tom/Elliot is a bootlegger.
Well,
allegedly.
He's trapped back in that time, and he's got to make a living, so he might as well hook up with his mama.
Right. All right. Whew. That was an episode.
Yeah, it was.
That was a jam-packed episode. We apologize for this going long.
Yeah,
it's way
long.
longer than we normally do.
But
all right. So what's your favorite moment?
I love the moments with Casey and Sam.
Yes.
I thought they were really good moments.
Yes. Now, there were just a lot of great moments in this. I don't even know what I would pick as my favorite because there's so many.
There were so many.
My favorite moment is probably, I like the scene at the pond between Casey and Alice.
Right. That was good too.
I really liked it. I like the reveal that we got. I really liked the opening.
Yes.
I thought that was great.
That was brilliant.
Because, we've all been wondering.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really great too. All right. So, character of the week.
Oh my God. I mean, they all seem to have gotten the same amount of screen time. So,
well, it doesn't have to be the person with the most. It's just whoever you think. It's not the most screen time.
No, I know, but usually, okay. So the person for me, I think Jacob. I think Jacob kind of opened up with Abby
and moved forward.
Yes. So I'm going to go with Jacob.
I'm going to go with Jacob and Sam.
Yes, and Sam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob and Sam for me.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Woo.
So
Next episode is titled Tainted Love. Let's go.
There we go.
We're ready to find out. We're going to find out.
Yep. And so out of 5 jumps into the pond, how many do you give this one?
5 this time. How about you?
I'm giving it 5.
All right.
There you go. So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
All right. So thank you for listening. And again, if you want to help other Hallmark fans find our podcast, you can give us ratings on Apple or Spotify and some reviews. And if you want to watch us, you can catch us over at YouTube at Pull the Wine. It's Rom-Com Time, where you can click that bell and subscribe button so you don't ever miss another episode we release.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Until next time.
Cheers.